Hi, everyone. I'm Eva Yazari. I'm the managing partner of Beyond Capital Ventures, and I am the CEO of Beyond Capital Fund. I'm here today with Babjot Kaur, based in Bangalore, who is the CEO of Clinikk, one of the Beyond Capital portfolio companies that is changing the game for access to healthcare in India. Welcome, Babjot. It's great to have you.
It's so nice to be here, Eva. Thanks for doing this.
It's a pleasure. And you've just joined our portfolio. We'll talk about how Beyond Capital's funding is being utilized. But first, tell us a little bit more about what motivated you to start your company.
So I'll have to maybe take you back to the journey of my life. So I grew up in a small place in Assam called Nagaon, which was a very nice, cozy, warm place. But unfortunately, the kind of healthcare conditions there were not great. So for me, afterwards, I went to IIT Roorkee to study, and then from there, I worked in oil and gas for almost 5 years. But during that time, when I was studying at IIT, my father was like really sick. And it was not like a very grave condition, but something as simple as diabetes, which was not managed well. And it grew and became extremely complicated, which could not be, handled anymore by a primary physician. So it became something which had him to be taken care in a tertiary care facility. The family did not have any sort of health insurance, and there was no good tertiary care hospital there in my area. So we had to take him to Chennai, where he was almost hospitalized for 8 months. So for me, having witnessed how much pain, not having access to a good family doctor who could guide you with something very simple and basic, so that it does not progress into a very hard disease to manage, was very hard to experience. I think for me and my family, it was very traumatic. So I was very clear that if I spend like prime youth of my life building something, it has to be in an area which impacts millions of other Indians who go through something similar like my family went through. So I was very clear on building a company which provides great care and affordable and accessible care. And that's how the inception of Clinikk was. For me, the motivation was to make sure that there's no other person who goes through what my father had to go through.
Thank you for sharing that story. Tell us what Clinikk does. What day in and day out are you and your team achieving?
So essentially, if you talk about Clinikk, you see this economic pyramid of this country, right? There are 750 million people who are covered by Ayushman Bharat, which is the world's largest health insurance scheme. Then you have top 130 million people who are generally covered by their employers, and they have access to health insurance, so retail health insurance, etc. But there is a huge gap in this missing middle, aspirational middle class, which is like growing crazy, right? But they don't have access to something as simple as branded, good, high quality primary care. For now, as you would know, the primary care in India is a fee for service model where people just go to a doctor and they are incentivized to overprescribe, overdiagnose, because that's how the whole medical system has been built, right? And of course, there is no health protection cover in place to make sure that there is a huge hospitalization issue, etc., that it can be taken care of for them and they can have a peace of mind. So for us, what was important was how do we create that one product which makes sure that a family, which is an aspirational middle class family of this country, like any other family, like my own family, gets access to extremely high quality, protocol led, scientific medical care. And how do they get peace of mind via a product like health insurance, right? So what we did was married the both. So today, just as low as $5 per month, a family can get access to unlimited consultations with their own family doctor. They don't have to like really wait to go and see a doctor. They can visit any of our 10 clinics in Bangalore, which we are expanding now. And they can get free consultations with the doctor. If the doctor has prescribed medicines and diagnostics, it can be taken care of in the plan itself. They don't have to spend anywhere else. And in fact, if the doctor is like, listen, I'm not able to take care of your condition and you need to go see a specialist, even that is covered. So the entire primary healthcare is cashless. And it's not just that, right? Alongside the primary healthcare, we also have coupled a very high quality insurance product by working with our insurance partner. where they can walk into any hospital in this country and get hospitalization cover, right? In our own network, they don't have to pay a penny. It's a cashless cover. And if they are by chance going to a non-network hospital, it gets reimbursed, right? So essentially, think about this, that a person, and I think it's an honor to say that Clinick is transforming healthcare experience for thousands of families, like my own family. A subscriber can now feel proud to take their daughter to like a clean, hygienic clinic. They don't have to wait for hours to just get a 2-minute audience with the doctor. They can easily get audience with the doctor. They can spend as much time as they want with the doctor without, any shame, without any guilt. And the doctor is treating them with empathy. And I think that's a huge thing, right? Because when you think about medical practice in India, just because of the sheer pressure and volume of the way the doctor have to practice medicine, they have to see so many patients. So obviously they can't spend so much time and they don't have so much of history and context of the patient when the patient is walking in. So this feels like a very personalized family doctor experience, which is being delivered in a facility which a person feels happy about getting their own family members. They feel it is clean, they feel it is modern. Um, and this person does not have to hop to 3 different places to get the fulfillment. So they can get everything under one roof, right? And I think there is a peace of mind with health insurance. I think what we have been able to create for the first time in this country is a extremely standardized, high quality primary healthcare delivery, which has always been a challenge, right? Because how do you ensure that any patient who's walking in gets a great health outcome? And I think that's evidenced by the fact, by the impact that we have created, more than 10,000 plus ratings. We are still 4.9 out of 5, 5 out of 5 across all clinics. We are growing organically. Our customer acquisition costs are very low and we are profitable, right? So I believe that this trust has only been able to compound because of the kind of high quality care that we have delivered and we are continuing to deliver. And that is the foundation of Clinick. It's something that we have been able to do very well.
Thank you so much. And I think what we really appreciate about your model at Beyond Capital Ventures is the insurance component. It makes so much sense to have the membership and the cashless experience, but then for the more kind of severe cases, hospitalization. And that's what we love about the business is the marriage of insurance and healthcare, and also a more membership-based and subscription-based type of approach. So thank you for innovating around that. Can you talk a little bit more about our recent investment capital and what that is utilized for?
So I would say I'll just build upon what you mentioned, right? We all understand that the retail health insurance penetration in India has been very low, and we believe that it's not because of anything else, but it's because of the fact that for India at the right price, we have not been able to create products which not just take care of hospitalization, but also take care of the out-of-pocket expenses of families, right? So that's why it was important for us to marry both healthcare and insurance and create like a managed care model which is suited to the needs of this country. Um, I'm happy to have partners like you coming on board, right? So with the capital that we have raised, the first thing that we would do is scale Bangalore. So we currently have a very profitable model. We have a lot of demand coming in from different areas in Bangalore. So we would first want to scale Bangalore with next quarter or so, and then also expand on our offerings that we have. So we have done some corporate stuff, but that has been mostly organic. So we want to get into opening up new channels for growth, which this capital will enable us to do. So what we are looking at is at least doubling our revenue from the position that we are in now over the next 12 months, becoming profitable at scale, and then expanding into other tier 1 cities where there is again a huge unmet demand for a product like ours.
How many clinics do you have right now?
So we currently have 10 and we are expanding to 13 or 14 in Bangalore itself over the next quarter or so.
That's that's a lot of work, but I know that you're in for it. Um, can you talk a little bit about the long-term vision of the company? So you are looking to reshape healthcare in your country. Your country is extremely large. You envision something very different for the folks that don't have that employer-sponsored health insurance or who are not paying out of pocket that 750 million and growing population. What is the big vision here?
So if you talk about healthcare, right, in India, it's been like there has not been any paradigm shift in the way people have imagined healthcare for India. It's only been like, repurposing a few things, putting something here and there, aggregating, or like it's just been a mission mash of the current inefficient system. I think what we are trying to do at Clinic is like imagine it from scratch. And in India, we do have that advantage. We are not having the burden of like the challenges which say a US healthcare system faces or like a UK healthcare system faces. So we are almost starting from scratch here in India. But that also gives us a lot of advantage while building on the technology, while building on the healthcare systems from scratch, etc. Right? So essentially, the larger picture here is that how do you create a reimagined managed care model for India? How do you create a Kaiser Permanente for India, which will be way larger the scale than Kaiser Permanente? Because as you correctly mentioned, India is a huge country with a lot of white space in healthcare and health insurance, right? So there is an opportunity to create the next largest healthcare company, not just from India, but from world here. And that's what we are aspiring to do. We are aspiring to really build out the healthcare which is attuned to an Indian ecosystem and then scale it up globally, right? I mean, because healthcare again is not just an Indian problem, right? But I would say that we are reimagining the way managed care company like a Kaiser could be built out from India from scratch, having the right incentives for the payer, for the provider, and for the patient, because that's what's lacking in this country, right? We have the incentives of the payer are not aligned with the provider, are not aligned with the patient. So who suffers in the end is the patient. We are doing good by the patient and creating a company which is an institution in itself, and that's where I see Clinic going. It's going to become the largest healthcare company that emerges from this country and potentially globally.
I'm really happy we invested. So just to get to know you a little bit more personally, before we wrap up, can you tell us who are the leaders who have inspired you and why?
I
Maybe.
think I'm really inspired by Ratan Tata. He
Mhm.
is the chairman emeritus of Tata Group now. He expired a few months back, and I think what stands out is the values that he have instilled in the Tata Group, right? So his ethical leadership and his commitment to social responsibility, the impact, while maintaining those high standards of service deliverability, right, is something which is none less than an inspiration. So I really love the way he balanced his business goals with his impact, and the model that he created across different industries for this country is nothing short of a legacy. So I believe that I draw inspiration from the fact that he has been able to do this in one lifetime, create such a legacy which will stay as long as this country stays, right? So it really inspires us to build the right cultural values in the organization, orient people to do the right thing, and everything else will follow. So I really am inspired by Ratan Tata.
Lastly, I want to throw you a slight wild card question to ask. I mean, India is really on the map right now. Stock market's going crazy. There's also some issues in the news that we've seen of late. Um, Generally, though, the massive demographic shifts are driving growth, and then there's a tremendous amount of innovation and very well educated entrepreneurs like you. So what is the most exciting part of India's growth for you as an Indian citizen?
I mean, in the last 5 years of building Clinic itself, we have seen how, like, our own demography has shifted, right? We have seen how somebody who was not able to afford, something is now able to afford that particular product. I feel that is the most exciting part for me, the rising consumer class.
Mm,
Everybody is now so much aware of not just about the other consumption, but also healthcare related consumption. People are now starting to eat healthy. People are now starting to think about their health. And I believe these are some early trends, early markers of a economy which is like going in the right direction of growth. This is the time to be in India, building in India, because as we all understand, right, by 2030, this segment that we are talking about is going to drive the consumption of this country quite a bit. I think it's something similar to what happened in China. Like in 10 years, there was a 10x growth in a particular sector, like health insurance and healthcare. We are expecting something similar or maybe larger to happen in India, and we happen to be in the right space at right time. So yeah, let's also, like, that's also a great factor for us at this point in time. But I feel India is poised for a solid growth trajectory in the coming decade.
You're speaking my language. Rising consumer classes are what we focus on at Beyond Capital Ventures. And so thank you, Bhavjot. It's always fun to spend time with you, another female leader. I am grateful that we got to invest in you and your co-founder, who happens to be your husband, at Clinikk. And thank you so much for your time today. I know everybody learned something.
Thank you, Eva. It was a nice, honest conversation. So yeah, thank you for doing this, and always respect the work that you guys do at Beyond Capital and the kind of companies you all have backed. Um, there's so much that I learn from your portfolio founders all the time. So it's good to be a part of your community. Thanks.
Thank you.